What's up, YouTube? Back with another one. Wanted to make this video on credit card points and how you can make money from it. Been playing this game for a while, and I made a little over $10,000, maybe a little more now. I haven't kept track with it super well, but I'll show you guys some of the strategies I've done and how you can do them as well. Kind of run over the whole scheme and kind of give you guys an introduction to how you can make 10K by literally just farming points. So I'll get my face out of the way. First off, I was running the American Express game. So we'll go over a few of the other big competitors in the space, but these are essentially the cards I've had over this time. And this was actually the first card I ever opened. It was a Wells Fargo 2% Visa. Super simple. Actually, I opened it when I was 18 or 19 with the help of my mom. And if you're just getting started, you might not have a credit score. You might not be approved for these things, but you can open a secured credit card where you literally give the bank 200 bucks, 300, 500 bucks, and then they give you a line of credit for that amount through a credit card. And you can start building credit that way. If you have a parent or a friend that is willing to co-sign for you or open an account for you under them, even better. But this is how I got started. It's pretty simple. I was 18. I wasn't making any money at that time, very minimal. So, and I still run this card to this day. It's a great 2% card. I think we're going to go through some of the strategies of how I think about these things, but you're going to need a 2% card. And I was already using Wells Fargo, still do. So that was a no-brainer. And over the years, I started studying this game of making money with credit cards and farming these points. And I mean, to get started, guys, I'm not just spending money on these things and not paying the balance. I mean, that would be very stupid. I certainly don't recommend you do that. I was spending this money very strategically so I could meet the sign-up bonuses that are often very rewarding. So this American Express one is actually one of the first few cards I've opened with them. And at that time, I got 100,000 points after spending 6K. That's about like 2K per month. And they give you, I think at the time it was like 4 months. I think they have it at 3 months now. But I was just spending money with it that I already had to spend. I was picking up a couple bills for my parents, and they would just pay me in cash. So if you have a business, if you have rent, if you have utilities, you can run through the card, and 6K through 4 months is not necessarily that high of spend. I'm sure you have money that you spend already throughout your months, and you're just going to do it through the card. So this guy will give you 4x on restaurants, supermarkets, 3x on flights, and 1x on everything else. So that's why I think it's important to have a 2% card, because this is going to be your fallback, your daily driver. From there, I got the Amex Platinum, and this one's a little bit more expensive in terms of the annual fee, and that comes also with more spend and more points. So as you kind of move up the ladder, this is more of a mid-tier card. This is more of an entry-level card with no annual fee. And these guys like the American Express, the Chase Sapphire, those are more high-level cards for travel. So if you're someone you travel a lot, you have access to the lounges, you have points back on flights and hotels. So these cards are tailored towards travel. And I mean, even if you're doing travel like a couple weekends a year, like I was back in the day when I was opening these cards and running these points, you can still get the points and justify the spend, just because the first year they have the card and the bonus you get, it just justifies it. And we'll get into why I had 2 platinum cards. And essentially, they have a couple lines of the American Express Platinum. They have a Morgan Stanley. They have the Vanilla, which is this one. They have a Charles Schwab. And I'm pretty sure they have one other one that it's kind of missing me right now. But the thing with the Charles Schwab one was that I could redeem the points at the portal to a brokerage account at 1.1 cent per point. So you can do a lot of things with these points. The lowest redemption rate, which is a 0.7 cents per point is something like a gift card, or you use those points for statement credit. And some of the highest points or redemption would be flying first class, doing luxury travel through some of these big airlines like Delta, Japan Airlines for travel overseas. If you want to do that, then, go for it. It's what they're kind of meant for in the first place. But I want to cash because I've always been into business. I needed cash to build my shoe business when I was in high school, parts of college. I traded options. So cash for me was the biggest thing. Like, I wasn't going to Japan first class when I was 19. I didn't have, well, I wish I could, but at the time it didn't make sense. I didn't have an interest for it. I didn't have money to my name. So getting money first is the priority here. And that's why I kind of went with the Charles Schwab. And I think this is one of the best ways of doing it. The Charles Schwab actually got nerfed. It used to be 1.15 cent per point, and today is 1.11. So they kind of caught on to that, and you can only redeem 1,000,000 points per year, but that's not a problem. You're not going to get 1,000,000 points every year. You're not going to speed run through just these cards. I will show you my redemption history here with Charles Schwab so you can guys see that I'm not just bullshitting y'all. We'll start with 2022. Like I mentioned, at this point, I've already had the gold card and this other cashback card with American Express for a while. So I already had a good bit of points. So you can see here as well. I already had close to 300, 400,000 points, and I redeemed them in the portal as cash to go into my brokerage account. And I mean, there's a cap here of 1,100. I think it was per day or per transaction. So that's why we have 3 transactions, but you can see it was in the same day. So here's the statements over the years. I mean, there's $9,500 in here from the points. Like I mentioned, I'm well over 10K with opening new checking accounts and bonuses and cash back that I've gotten. So this is just with the points in American Express. And you can see here, I closed my platinum card this year. So a couple months back, I just didn't find the value in it anymore. I've kind of squeezed a lot of that juice. I didn't play the business cards yet, and I think I will. And we'll kind of run over that in a little bit because those are really handsome bonuses as well. It just requires a lot of spend though. And I have a business through Turo, which is a rental car business. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of costs. Like, we're repairing cars, we're buying stuff for it all the time. So it kind of helped me with some of those points too. But I mean, I wasn't just spending my Turo stuff under my American Express personal cars because those are all business expenses. And for accounting reasons, it's just easier to have everything under one house. And that's why I got this guy right here, which is American Express Business Plus. And like I mentioned, there's an intro bonus of 20K, which is not the highest, but they give you a very good credit limit if you're in need of credit. Of course, always pay it in time, always pay it in full so you don't dox your credit score. Because if you have a 500 credit score because you haven't paid any of these things off, then forget about it. You're not going to be open any American Express card. You're not going to be open any card because you're going to see your credit score is trash. Your history of non-payment is trash, and they're not going to have an appetite to give you a card. So, I mean, this is a business card I use today and I'll probably continue to use. I get 2% back on everything, actually 2x points on everything. So pretty sweet. It's pretty straightforward. No annual fee. These other guys have annual fees, but if you're doing it right and you're claiming all of the perks that you get, for example, the gold card, I have $110 annually in Uber, actually $120. And so if you're taking an Uber like myself, if you're going to the bars, you're coming back from the bars, whatever, you're taking Ubers, you're already getting that $10. So the $250 annual fee, which was at the time, I think it's a little higher now, kind of gets offset by that. You also get a $10 Grubhub and Uber Eats credit every month where I would order it and then go pick it up so I didn't have to pay for the delivery fee. That's what I did too. And I mean, there's $240 just right there. That's how much I had to pay for the card. So if you're doing if you're playing these things pretty smart, and I mean, this video is not to get into the nitty gritty of every perk and redemption that you can get. It's just like a holistic overview of the things I've done to uh, get over 10K in redemptions here with the Charles Schwab, like you saw. And then I think I have like 40K points under the account just from spending in this guy right here. Um, and I mean, there's great bonuses with debit accounts as well, with checking accounts. This one I opened under American Express as well, and I got 30K points after I deposited 5K. I mean, I run the business. There's deposits coming in, going out. So it was a no-brainer. I did it with this guy. I did it with Chase as well. I opened a business account there, and I got $400 after a certain amount of transactions. I think it was 2K. So if you're running a business, if you have a job, you're going to be getting paid essentially, and you can just run it through whatever debit card, whatever checking account you have for the month, or maybe the couple of months that you're running this through, and you get points in return. So this is like a holistic view of credit card points. What I'm running right now and what I think you could run, there's a couple players in this game. So Chase is a big one. Capital One is another emerging one. In American Express, it's one of the older ones with Chase, and they're pretty well known. The thing with Chase, though, there's a 524 rule. So you can only open 5 credit cards within 24 months for you to get accepted. So they're a little bit more stringent with opening cards, and you got to be a lot more strategic. But another great place to start as well. These are kind of like the mid-tier, the entry-level ones, and the Sapphire Reserve comparing to the MX Platinum, Freedom Unlimited. The Saver is a great card from Capital One. I'm actually running these guys right now, plus that 2% card there with Wells Fargo. I have an Apple Card too, but these are the main ones when it comes to redemptions. I use this guy for gas. I've actually had this one for a while. And like I mentioned, the business card, we have the gold card, which I think is one of the best ones. And I kind of subbed our platinum card for the Venture X. It has a lower annual fee. I'm not really interested in playing the points anymore. It's a little stressful, and it's like you got to be very on top of it. And it takes time. And at this point, like, making $1,000 from opening a credit card, like, yeah, it's fun, but it's not like my whole living, because I can make $1,000 doing other stuff, and it's a lot easier. So I've kind of somewhat graduated from this game. But when I was getting started, like you saw in 2022, I was 21 years old. I was in college. I didn't have much to my name, and by playing this thing right and by redeeming your points in a pretty tactful way and smart way, you're able to make like 10 grand. Like, tell me another way of making 10 grand where you literally just strategize for a weekend and set out what credit cards you're going to open. Even if you follow my timeline and just take 6 months to apply to each of these, even 5 months, you're going to be accepted to all of them. If you have somewhat of an income, and if you have a good credit score, which you should have, you shouldn't like be missing payments. You should have somewhat of a track record. So if you're 18, even if you're 24, like I am right now, and you don't have a credit card, there's still time for you to go open a Wells Fargo, for you to go open a 2% whatever card and start, because you can do this throughout 2 years, throughout 3 years, and get 1,000,000 points on the American Express portal, go redeem it at Charles Schwab, and then you get 10K that you can use to a down payment for an Airbnb, or if you're flipping a house, you have that 10K, you can do that as well. You can start a Turo fleet of rental cars like I did, that has yielded more than 6 figures now. So it's just a matter of you getting kind of scrappy and going after it, because there's so much opportunity to be made. And this is just one of the things I've done when I was a little younger, and it was awesome. I mean, I recommend anybody to do this. As you can see, this is my statement from my Charles Schwab that I pulled from 21 to 2025, so we can get all of them. And you can see 2022, there's a big gap there from 2022 to 23, where I just kind of stopped playing the game as much. You can see lower amounts, stuff like that. So 2022 was the biggest year because I opened that platinum card with Charles Schwab, got to redeem a bunch of points, and it was a good day. It was a good year. You also get so many incentives from American Express to open a card under you. So if you add a card member, you can get 10K points after they spend 2K. I did this for all of the cards I've had. So I would just get my mom in there. I'll put my brother. I would get my dad. So you can do this as well. And you get like 40K points extra per card. Maybe even you can do this like 2-3 times every year. So you just got to get scrappy, guys. You got to get creative. There's money to be made out there in any area. I wanted to share one of the areas that I started, and I found it a lot of fun. I just really like finance and in credit cards per se. So this is what I did: gold card, platinum card, Schwab, business card. And this is the way you could do it through Chase, Capital One as well. They have a great stack. This is what I run today. If you're curious, Capital One Venture X, gold. This is a cashback for gas, which is not a big deal. My 2%, Wells Fargo, my business card, which I get 2x points, and a couple others. I actually have like an REI credit card, and I don't regret opening it. It was one of the first ones, and I got like a $200 gift card for it that I spent at REI when I was like 19. So kind of stay away from the store credit cards unless it's like one of the Visa, Amazon Prime ones where you get 5% back. That's a great card if you're shopping at Amazon. But stay away from like the Macy's credit card or the Target, Walmart credit card. Those are not worth it. I mean, you're going to blow through your 524 rule like we talked about at Chase. And they don't really offer like anything unique aside from like $100 gift card at Target. So stick with the major players. Don't get lured in the whole Target, Walmart scheme with getting a credit card. And this is kind of how it looks today. These are a few tips on how to get good credit. Took a screenshot at the beginning of the year. I found an iPhone for my credit score. It was, a little under 800. This is one of the credit limits for the business account that I just mentioned with the blue card. And I mean, a few tips, like pay everything on time, like we talked about. This is a big part of your credit score, and it can hurt you for years. Even if it's like $20, regardless how much it is, it's going to say that you missed a payment, and you look bad for the credit bureaus. So keep utilization under 10% whenever your statement credit comes by. Don't cancel the old cards. I've had my Wells Fargo card for a number of years now, and it helps my credit score because it shows that I've had credit for a while. And this is actually a big thing of credit cards and how they report on your credit score. So like I mentioned, get a starter card early, as soon as you can. Go to Wells Fargo. I mean, any of the big banks now, they have a pretty good 2% card. So you can't really go wrong with any of them. So get a 2% card anywhere so you can get started on the game, and then monitor your credit like I did diligently for a number of years. And I mean, at this point, I don't really pay much attention to it. I'm sure it's like 770, 800. It kind of varies throughout that range, but those are kind of some of the rules. And like I mentioned, guys, you can't just not pay your cards. I feel like that's a big mistake people do. They just kind of get confused with the game and they don't pay the cards in full. So they start accruing debt, and then you got to pay interest on that debt, which is extremely high. So don't do that. This isn't about spending more. It's like about optimizing where you're spending that money. Like I mentioned, the 524 rule, you got to be understanding of that with Chase. And you need to meet the minimum bonus, like we just talked about, in that time period. So if it's like you got to spend 4K in 6 months, find a way to spend 4K in 6 months. Like, don't go into that. Don't spend money that you can't, but have that in mind. If you're not getting that bonus in the first couple of months, like, it doesn't really make sense for you to have that card. So we talked about low value redemptions, which is actually one of the ways that people lose points on a lot of times. And applying for too many cards too quickly in a short period of time is also a bad thing, because you kind of show all of these hard inquiries that you have under your credit score. So just a few things to keep in mind, guys. Wanted to share this because who doesn't want to make 10K from playing credit card points? I certainly wanted to when I was younger, and I did it. So hopefully you can get inspired by this video too, to get out there, do your due diligence, plot a plan on how you're going to make all of this money from credit cards. And like I mentioned, don't go into that. Don't spend money that you can't. But this is it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you have any questions, drop them down. Just want to see you guys win. Keep going after it. Thank you for joining.